Good day, fellow educators. My name is Sky Barry, and today I'll be leading this professional development seminar on approaching gender and identity in the early primary classroom. You'll find that the resources I discuss today are specifically suited to a Year 2 audience. Why is gender and identity important to the primary classroom? For many years, notions of gender and sex have been coagulated as one unchanging identity by the education industry. As I hope all educators are now firmly aware, this is quite untrue. We know sex to be corresponding to our genitalia at birth, whereas we now know gender to be a very socially informed aspect of our lives. For a child, what other experience socializes us and shapes our values more than school? At school, gender is reinforced through friendships, sports, and classroom roles. Providing a safe space for children to challenge these socializing factors is imperative. Most importantly, children want to discuss gender identity and sexuality. Silencing their inquisitiveness and denying students an opportunity to discuss with one another is harmful to their developing self-concept. So what resources can be used to support the exploration of gender and identity? This resource is sourced from Twinkle, and as its name would imply, it is a set of true or false cards designed to help younger students unpack common gender-based stereotypes. For example, girls can't be race car drivers, true or false? This resource would benefit Grade 2 students by exploring the concept of stereotypes and how they can inform behaviour and gender expression. They can also be used to help students become more discerning consumers of media. As the educator continues to share texts with students throughout the year, they can reflect on these cards and whether the story had any gender biases that they could easily identify. This resource could be used in a group setting to yield an open discussion, or it could also be used as a form of diagnostic assessment in a one-to-one teacher-student setting. The students' individual responses would help the educator to identify any stereotypes the students may have already adopted in their current understanding of gender. This would inform teachers' pedagogical approach going forward and give them a roadmap for learning. This resource helps students explore how stereotypes and misconceptions can reflect or generate inequity between various genders. For example, why do you think people are unsure whether girls can be race car drivers? Do you think the stereotype makes it more difficult for girls to become race car drivers if they want to? Does that mean that girls might have less career options because of this way of thinking? If people believe race car driving is too dangerous for girls, does that mean that only boys can participate in dangerous activities? These are some of the questions that this resource may help to reveal. Engaging this resource supports the development of children's critical thinking skills as they challenge stereotypes with conflicting information from their own experiences. This resource is underpinned by key values of humanistic learning theory, reiterating to children that each person has unique individual characteristics and merits that do not always align with generalizations or stereotypes linked to their gender identity. Second resource I'd like to present today is a book by Maya Gonzalez entitled The Gender Wheel. The book introduces the gender wheel in place of the common binary gender system many students may have already pinned their understandings of gender to. It explores these concepts in language that is accessible to children. This resource is beneficial to unpacking the topic of gender and identities as it shifts thinking towards a gender-inclusive holistic framework. This book would be used well as an introduction to a lesson plan to engage students in the concept of gender. Some specific issues it addresses includes the impact of Western culture and how it has suppressed pre-existing notions of gender. It explores multi-gendered identities and highlights gender in nature. It also supports the development of critical thinking skills and encourages students to reshape their thought towards gender to accommodate new ideas. Although parental support for the inclusion of gender and sexuality diversity in primary school has significantly increased, there is still hesitation from many teachers who believe they will receive backlash that their teachings corrupt childhood innocence. Educators may wish to garner parents' and carers' input in the matter to foster a communal approach to gender diversity education, as reflected in Standard 3.7 of the Australian Professional Teaching Standards. This resource can be used in the pursuit of content descriptor AC9HP2P01. By applying a queer theoretical lens and engaging this resource, students can begin to challenge the ways in which their environment socializes them into gender expectations. I thank you for attending this seminar today, and I wish you all the best of luck in implementing these resources.